And it's that time of the year, ladies and gentlemen. It's called holiday break. Our students take a break. Therefore, Kevin is producing Sports Scene today. This is his first shot at seeing what I've seen all these years, but it's part of the deal. So thanks to Kevin for doing that today. Got a good show planned for you today. I couldn't wait to ask this, though, and I want to get your reaction. Billy Napier formally signs his contract at James Madison, and he's going to hire an offensive coordinator. The one thing he would not do here, and who knows, maybe if he had, he might still be around. I wonder what your reaction was to that. I hope you'll call or email and tell me today. If for those who never liked to hire in the first place, I get what your reaction is going to be. But you know what? It's sometimes not easy to admit you made a mistake. And he's also going to use different personnel than what he used here. So, but I just wonder what your reaction is to that. By the way, this has been out for a while. When Coach Sumrall comes here, and by the way, he has been in Gainesville. He's had his staff in Gainesville, meeting together, planning, talking to recruits, all of that. They were in final exams at Tulane, so they weren't going to practice anyway, but he's back there now, getting ready for the game. But the schedule next year, as brutal, and again, if you think Billy Napier was somewhat unlucky, he was, given the schedule. He had a brutal schedule. Next year, Florida has 4 home games, 4 away games in the league. South Carolina, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma come here. Go to Kentucky, Auburn, Missouri, and Texas. Now, we don't know what teams are going to be like because of the portal and all of that. I mean, one of those teams may get the best quarterback in the world. But on paper, much more manageable, don't you think? In 2027, Florida's home games are Arkansas, LSU, Texas A&M, and Kentucky. A little harder home schedule. Away, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Alabama, and Tennessee. Probably a little tougher schedule in 27 than in 26. Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. Sometimes in 24 hours, what about what's happened at Michigan? Wow. I mean, first of all, to lose a coach this late in the process after all these hirings have taken place, but then when you throw in what's behind it, man, who are they going to hire now? I'd be interested. We've seen it, not very much. That's a big job. That's a big-time job. If a coach was just hired someplace and Michigan called and said, would you come here? I wonder. By the way, before I get to Daryl's call, let me tell you we're broadcasting live from the Gator Trim Light Studio, your one-stop source for lighting needs. And as always, fueled by our friends at Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue, the best in late-model, low-mileage vehicles. Go see them today. When you do, make sure and tell them Sports Scene sent you. Titan MRI and Imaging phone line, 392-8255. 3 locations in Gainesville, 1 in Lake City to serve you better. Same-day scheduling available. Call them for the best MRI and affordable prices at TitanMRI.com. International Diamond Center email, srussell@wruf.com. They carry an assortment of designer engagement rings, wedding bands, watches, and great fine jewelry. They are the official jeweler of the Florida Gators. All of our guests, courtesy of Meldon Law. in practice since 1971, the only injury law firm partner of the Florida Gators. And many thanks to Quality Plumbing for sponsoring our first hour. Rely on the same company Gainesville's trusted for over 40 years. That's right, over 40 years. Quality Plumbing, their name says it all. All right, let's go to our Titan MRI Imaging phone line. Daryl, hello.
Hey, Steve, thanks for taking my call today.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Steve, did you get to see the Stuart Scott 30 for 30 last night?
Part of it, yes, I did.
Yeah, incredible how he went from journalism school in Chapel Hill to, to ESPN and battle cancer, out late in his career. It kind of hit home with me, one of my loved ones going through the same thing, and passing away from it. But it was a great show last night.
Yeah, look, I think when you're dealing with one of your own, you're going to make that, at least try to make that, a pretty special thing. And it was. And obviously, what he went through with his family and all that. But what I love about the guy, forget on air, he understood his illness. He did what he could to put it out there, to have people help donate, as Valvano did. So, yeah, really well done.
Yeah. Steve, before we get to Billy Napier, what do you think about Pete Alonso with the Orioles now?
I thought he was leaving all the while. I thought Boston. I thought that's where he was going to go. It surprised me a little bit that it was going to be Baltimore, but I think from what I'm told, they offered the most money. And that's what – and look, I don't begrudge Pete looking for money, right? He took a shorter payday to stay with the Mets. In the short term, this is so typical Mets. So typical Mets that you lose your closer, you lose your best power hitter, you get rid of Brandon Nimmo, very popular player, and you have to replace them. Okay, you sign a guy who could be your closer, but other than that, nothing. Now, there's plenty of time between now and the year to fix that, but once again, it'll be a painful holiday for Mets fans.
Right. Steve, as far as Billy Napier, it's like this to me. I mean, you live life, you learn from your mistakes in life. It's like on the job, you make mistakes, but you learn from them. I wish Billy Napier nothing but the best at James Madison, Steve. And I just think he learned his lesson by not hiring an offense coordinator at Florida. He's seeing now that, I know James Madison's a smaller school than UF, but still, he's seeing now it's going to take more than just him running the whole offense at a school,
Here's the thing, though. I really would like to do one more sit-down with Billy and ask him, in his opinion, what didn't go right here, and I'm going to work like hell to do that. But it's one thing to hire an OC. Forget Billy. It's Joe Blow could be the coach, and you hire an OC. What are you going to let him do? What will he actually be able to do? Is he going to be the real play caller? Is he going to have a say in the personnel, right? Whether it's 11 personnel, 12, whatever that personnel is, to the strength of your football team. That's, hiring an OC is fine. What are you going to allow the OC to do, I think, is the most important question.
Correct. It's just like here, what is Coach Sumrall going to let our new OC do,
Yeah, I think he'll let him be the OC.
Yep. All right, Steve, have a good day, my man.
All right, thank you. And I can tell you this, Florida's new offensive coordinator wants to be a head coach. And he will do, if he's successful here, great chance to go away. Evan, Billy says he'll hire an OC, but he also said he'd do that here last year. He looked into one guy, stopped looking, and gave up. I'll believe it when I see pen to paper. Bernard, hello.
Hey, Steve, how's it going, Steve? They hadn't announced that thing. You say that guy wants to be Buster Faulkner wants to be a head coach. Hell, he may be a head coach before he's offensive coordinator. Because this thing is not finalized with him here yet, from what I'm hearing and reading. What are you hearing?
Well, I'm just saying that his aspiration is to be that, and he was here in town with Sumrall. So, I think that's going to happen. But look, I think, if your goal is to be a head coach in college football, you normally do that from a coordinator spot. And I think if he does well here, for a couple of seasons, he would at least be in the pool, I think, for candidates, if indeed that happens. That's a long way away, though.
You know how it works, here, Steve. If a guy comes here and does a good job, man, everybody come after him for offers. But, Steve, it's Billy Nate. I love the guy. He did so much right here. I wanted him to be successful. But, Steve, I think Billy kind of even got that thing backwards. You kind of hone your craft out of James Madison, and then so you perfect it. So when you get to a place like Florida, you're ready to take on the big guns, Steve. He's doing it in reverse. I think it took for him to get fired, for him to actually see his mistakes. Because if I'm the athletic director at James Madison, I say, hey, what was your biggest takeaway? What would you do different if you were still at Florida? Another thing is this, Steve, I close. I think they had Signetti and Chesney. James Madison, I think they lit the scoreboard up on paper. I wonder, I don't know if that's Billy's philosophy, but hey, man, I wish the guy nothing but the best. Steve, you take care and have a great day.
All right, Bernard, thank you. Maybe in time, people will see some of the good things that Napier did do. Cleaned up the locker room, all that. Players did not get in trouble here. You never saw players in the police blotter here. So those things, Gator made, those types of things, very, very good. But fans don't care about that as much as they do, obviously, winning and losing. But he did say, there was a radio interview that he did up there, and he said he would go more pace, a little more 11 personnel, spreading out. He thinks at that level he can find the skilled players to do it. And it's interesting, and I kind of agree with him here. At that level, I think it's easier to find 11 personnel people than it is tight ends. I think at this level, you find the tight ends. So what he's saying makes sense, but I can just see a lot of Gator fans rolling their eyes at this point over some of the things that he said. We'll take a break. We'll come back, and then we're going to start getting our guests here on Sports Scene. Stay with us as you listen on WRUF. Hey, it's Steve Russell for Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue. Friends, they've been in business for 45-plus years, and the Cousins family has done just one thing, but man, they've done it right. They give you the best alternative you have to purchasing a new vehicle, the best in late-model, low-mileage vehicles. I'm driving one right now, have been for a very long time. They've treated me right. They'll do the same thing for you. Go see them today, Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville.
Transform your home with Gator trim lights. Professionally installed, permanent outdoor lighting that disappears by day and dazzles by night. Our patented color-matched channel blends seamlessly with your roof line. No clips, no wires, just a clean, custom look. Use the easy app to light up the holidays, birthdays, game days, any day. Energy efficient, built to last, and backed by a lifetime product warranty. Schedule your free estimate today at GatorTrimLight.com.
When the unexpected happens, you need a legal team that's ready to fight for you, just like the Florida Gators. At Meldon Law, we're proud to partner with the Florida Gators to deliver winning results for those who have been injured at no fault of their own. With a strong record of success and a team that won't back down, Meldon Law is your trusted partner in tough times. Call Meldon Law at 352-373-8000 or visit us at meldonlaw.com.
After you work out, you can feel worn out. Reach for Core Power and rise to a whole new level of recovery. Protein to build muscle. Electrolytes to help hydrate. The nutrition you need to power on. Champion your recovery with Core Power.
Hey, have you ever talked to Ruzagra over at State Farm?
Oh yeah, Ruse is awesome. Helped me get a ton of coverage for way less than I expected, and he serves all of North Florida. Super friendly too, actually takes time to explain everything.
Really? I thought State Farm would be pricey.
Nope, surprisingly great rates. You get that neighborly service you don't find everywhere. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I might give Ruse at State Farm a call.
You should. Call 352-240-1779 for a free quote. You'll be glad you did.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
90 years ago, 9 University of Florida faculty members started something big, Campus USA Credit Union, the first credit union on a U.S. college campus. Today, Campus USA is 160,000 members strong, proudly serving the community with auto loans, business loans, mortgages, and more. Whether you're just starting out or building your future, Campus is here to help you every step of the way. Stop by any campus location or join the team at campuscu.com. Campus USA Credit Union, celebrating 90 years of better banking.
Look at your hood, your bumper, that door ding you swore you'd fix last year. Mako sees it too, and we make it easy to take care of, from scratches to full makeovers. We've been trusted for over 50 years to get cars looking like new again. And we're not just for drivers like you and me. Mako is the largest fleet cosmetic repair provider in the country. So whether it's one car or 50, go with the brand you can trust. Better get Mako. Visit Mako.com or stop by Mako in Gainesville today on Main Street.
You're listening to Sports Scene with Steve Russell, right here on WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Don't forget, if you have Facebook Live questions, they're brought to you by Ruzagra State Farm, your go-to agent in Gainesville and North Central Florida for home, car, casualty, and life insurance. And any YouTube questions brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, where Mr. Spurrier does his banking, founded on the UF campus, serving our community for 90 years. Well, with all the football and basketball and winter meetings in baseball, we're going to talk soccer today because Florida's new soccer coach, Nick Zimmerman, is here live in studio. Coach, welcome. Welcome to Gainesville.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Talk to us about what you saw in this job in taking this position.
Yeah, well, we're going to call it football here as well too. So it'll be the other football. Okay. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I grew up in Tampa. A lot of friends, a lot of family. The history of this program and Mississippi State was incredible to me. I want to thank everyone there that allowed me that opportunity to grow and learn. And I was actually ready to basically have roots down there. And Florida came open, and there's only two jobs, right, that I was actually looking for that I would leave, in Florida and Notre Dame. And Florida opened up, and it was pretty surreal to be involved in the process with the history of the this program, the success it's had. I've known Coach Becky for a while, and she was one of the first ones to reach out to me. So I'm beyond grateful and honored to lead this program and hopefully bring it back to the days that they used to know.
How'd you get into coaching?
So I grew up playing soccer, went to James Madison, and then got the opportunity to play professionally. So I played in the MLS, played for New York Red Bulls, Philadelphia Union, and then I got hurt, right? The thing that you never think will happen.
Of course.
And I'm so grateful for my parents, in particular my mom, because I had the opportunity to leave college early to go play pro. And I said I'd finish my degree, but she knew me better than I probably wouldn't. So, I got hurt, and I always loved the game. I was a student of it, always asked questions, and, I had the opportunity to work with club teams, had high-level coaches when I played pro. And so it was something that really I was passionate about, and it's been incredible.
If a Gator fan is going to come out and watch your Florida teams play, what will they see? What are some of the things that you demand or that you expect of your players?
Yeah, well, first off, we're going to work really, really hard. We're going to be a team that when they put on that jersey, they know what it represents. All the players that have come before and all those that will come after. But we're going to be a team that wants the ball. It's going to be very, very attack-minded. When we don't have it, we're going to be relentless in us trying to win it back. And, it's going to be a team that's fluidity. It's going to be interchanging. It's going to be a team that's going to, like I said, dominate the ball. It's going to be an attractive style where not only, fans are going to come from near and far, but top players want to play in this system.
Have you had a chance to talk to the team and all that stuff
Yes,
yet?
yeah. I got announced, or I got told Thursday. I told my team, and then Friday morning I did a Zoom with the group, and there's a lot of excitement. And I met with them all individually throughout this week. And I think for us, it's the biggest thing is just getting to know them. Let them know my vision for this program. Hiring an elite staff is the first and foremost important thing for me. And then the standards and expectations that we have of them each and every day. And it starts with me as the leader.
I've done this for a long time, and I don't know I've ever asked a coach this question. So I'm going to ask it.
Well, I feel special.
Yeah, I'm going to ask it. How difficult is it leading a team?
Yeah. I've only had to do it 2 times. And, I appreciate the administration of Mississippi State for allowing me the opportunity to speak to the team. On Thursday night, it was emotional. I mean, I typed up something, and I barely got through it. I bawled like a baby, and it's because of the relationships that you develop. It's because, someone once told me, if it doesn't hurt, then it wasn't worth it. And ultimately, it couldn't have been more worth it. I have absolutely no regrets. I have some of my best memories there, and so it was really, really, really hard. I have a baby girl coming in February.
Congratulations!
Thank you, girl dad. As if it was ever going to be a boy, right? So, but no, I mean, this was something that allows me to get back closer to my family who live in Tampa and can be a part of our daughter's life.
Coaching in the SEC, obviously very, very competitive league. What do you see when you're at State with the SEC?
Yeah, I mean, I actually just answered that question, earlier today. And the SEC is really unique in that every single team is different. Every single team presents different challenges. And so one of my most enjoyable things as a coach is trying to understand the chess match of where we can exploit them, where when they exploit us, and every team is different, every game is different, but the most important thing for us is our identity, that no matter what you're going to get from Florida Gators.
Mary Howard is the longtime sports information person for the sport, and I've been doing this a long time, and she knows soccer is not my most that I have the most knowledge in, so I rely on the coaches to help me. But in terms of style of play, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, we want to attack. For I know, being around the game enough, there's a lot of people that don't know the game, and ultimately, they realized most easy thing to see is, man, you guys really pass a lot. Right, so most sports have passing in some shape or form. So you try and take it at the remedial level. But we're going to team that's going to pass the ball. We're going to share the ball. We're going to dominate the ball. But we want to score goals. We want to attack. Our goalkeeper is going to play extremely high. It's going to be uncommon, and it's a little bit uncomfortable for new goalkeepers early on. But talking to the players in goal, they're really, really excited about it.
What was the player reaction to you?
I hope good. I think it was positive. But obviously it's so early. And it's, for me, it's about building that trust. And through that, it takes time and really, really trying to connect with these players, not just on the surface level, but also deeper.
Sometimes I think, why would somebody want to coach given all that's out there now? The portal and NIL and all of that. How much of a challenge has that been?
Yeah, I mean, I think the challenge is no one really knows what's going on. Every other day it changes. New legislation, new rules. What's allowed, what's not allowed. So it's ever evolving, and it's important to have the resources that know that a little bit better than you. They get paid way more than we do to make those decisions. But at the University of Florida, the resources that you have and the commitment to it, just from being here just a few days, has been incredible to see. And the amount of donors that I've spoken to as well early on. This is a sport that Florida Gators really, really want to see do well, and it's an incredible sign for me.
I hope I don't ask a dumb question here.
Never.
Because of all of that, has it changed how you recruit?
Yeah. I think nowadays it's the hardest part, right, is it transactional, right, where it's X is an X amount is value, and right now, how do you actually determine value, right? So it's about developing those relationships where you have players that truly, truly not only want to be at Florida, but they also want to grow and they want to develop. And, the financial piece is there. We're well aware of it, and I understand it. But at the core, it has to be about more than that. And, it's certainly, you're going to go after elite players. And, you have many universities that are throwing money out. So it's certainly a changing landscape than it was 5, 7, 10 years ago.
That was my last question. In terms of the athlete that you recruit, I guess it's positional like anything else, but in terms, in a general sense, what are the kind of athletes you want to recruit here?
I think they have to fit our style, right? Our vision, right? The most important thing is an organization is that everyone is aligned with what we are trying to do. And, we want to go after the players that we feel embody the University of Florida. And obviously from not just a soccer standpoint or a football side, but also just who they are as a person, the character side. They have to embody the values that are important to me and are important to the University of Florida.
Did I miss anything? Anything you want to add?
No, this is great. I appreciate it. And we're going to get you to say football. It'll be FUTBOL, not 2 O's. So.
Okay. Mary, take a note of that now. I have to, when he's here, I got to say football now.
You don't have to do the food. You can just say football. It's okay. Yeah,
right.
But it's up to you. Whatever you want. It's your world, Steve. It's okay.
But you're in it. So, right? As long as you're here,
all right.
I'll defer.
I appreciate
to the new guy here.
All right.
Appreciate you coming by.
Thanks for having me.
You
Appreciate it. Go Gators.
Welcome to Gainesville. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Much more sports scene to come as you listen on WRUF.
WRUF, your home of the NFL.
It's no fun being injured. The last thing you want to deal with is long wait times or high costs. Well, guess what? You don't have to thanks to Titan MRI and Imaging. The experience at Titan MRI and Imaging is much more personal than the sterile atmosphere of a hospital. Joe and his team are personally involved and will guide you through the entire process at any of their 3 convenient locations. And they accept insurance. So if you need a scan, save time and money and call Titan MRI and Imaging. Learn more at TitanMRI.com.
The jewelry store with the most likes, the most positive reviews, the most raving fans is International Diamond Center.
IDC is definitely a place that I will come to as long as I live here. This will be my go-to place always.
Literally the best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning. The value was extraordinary.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
At Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
Every great team is built on a solid game plan, sharp execution, and total trust in the crew beside you. At Quality Plumbing, we bring that same championship mindset to every job we do. For over 40 years, we've been the starting lineup for homes and businesses across North Central Florida, delivering reliable service, expert craftsmanship, and big wins for our customers. Call us today or visit qualityplumbing.com. We're your first string team. License number CFC 043073.
Need a new AC and wondering who to call? I'm Kirk Smith, owner of Crystal Air and Water. Our team of professionals are strongly committed to responsiveness, problem resolution, customer satisfaction, and service excellence. We promise to meet the heating and cooling needs of your home with the most effective and energy-efficient products available. Maybe that's why we're the most liked AC company on Facebook. Follow us today. Crystal Air and Water, online at acpenguin.com.
License number CMC 1249384.
Yes, I'm calling Crystal Air and Water. Call Crystal.
Hey, did you hear where the company holiday party is going to be this year?
Oh, yeah. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
No, wait, I love that place. I went to their brunch last month. They have this amazing made-to-order omelet station and bottomless mimosas. It's so good.
Well then, I guess the party's already a win.
Make your holidays a touchdown at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Enjoy brunch every Saturday and Sunday 11 to 3. And there's still time to book your holiday party. Visit spurriers.com for more.
There are plenty of realtors in town, but few work as hard, respond as quickly, or care as deeply as Doreen Wiebe of Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Community-driven and client-focused, Doreen will work with you to ensure your satisfaction. Whether you're buying or selling, she brings persistence, preparation, and heart to every deal. With Doreen, you're not just another transaction. You're a priority. Call 352-562-1411. That's 352-562-1411.
So I was thinking of getting Dad another tie this year.
A tie? You know he spends more time on the boat than in the office. Maybe get him a new life jacket instead.
Good idea. Besides, ties sink and life jackets don't.
Before your holiday shopping, visit wearitflorida.com for life jacket guidelines and make this holiday unforgettable, because the best gift you can give is life. Brought to you by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida.
This is Sean Kelly, voice of the Gators, and you're listening to the home of Gators basketball, right here on WRUF.
Fueled by Southeast Car Agency, coming to you live from the Gator Trim Light Studio. This is a Thursday edition of Sports Scene. As the day goes along here, really good guest list coming on. We're going to talk some college basketball. We're going to talk some college football. We're going to talk about Santa Fe College. They've got an athletic program too. Their women's basketball team is in full swing now. David Lowry, their coach, will join us. Tomorrow, Mark Wise will join us for a segment to talk hoops with you. Jenny Rowland, the Gator gymnastics coach, will be live here in studio. And Sean Devaney will talk a little NBA. But in the meantime, we have an open phone segment here and an email segment, 392-8255, the International Diamond Center phone line, and the email is srussell@wruf.com. And we also want to tell you to check out our daily clip of the day on WRUF Facebook and YouTube at WRUF Home of the Gators, brought to you by our friends at Fairlife Milk. No interviews yet, right? Okay, all right. All right, let's get to a couple of emails here. Mark, how crazy would this be? DeBoer to Michigan, Kiffin to Alabama, Sumrall to LSU, Steve Russell to Florida. Yeah, the last one is crazy. But look, that's not going to happen. But would it be interesting to see now who Michigan does go after? And would a coach who has just taken a job someplace all of a sudden say, well, I'll go to Michigan? I don't know. Brian, if anybody has any question about Sumrall's work ethic, these past 2 weeks should show he's all in. Spurrier shared a picture of him and his coaching staff together, eating and meeting. Yep, 2 full-time jobs now. I can't imagine the amount of pressure he's under. Billy deserves another shot. Glad he's getting it at JMU. I wish him well. Glad he's willing to change to better his career and acknowledging it didn't work. Wish he had done it sooner. Time heals all. We can't fault him for bettering himself in hopes he can get back to his roots of success. And I hope that's how most people will feel here. Art, what the Mets are doing makes no sense. They stripped the team but let the manager run it back, who was in charge of the second half collapse. Strange franchise. It's always been a strange franchise in New York. Always, Art. Now, let's. If you're a glass half full guy, there is certainly time to make changes. But on the surface of this at the winter meetings, not a good look for the Mets at all. All right, let's go to Byron here. Byron, hello. Can you put him up, his volume up, the caller?
This is me, Steve.
Okay, hey, Byron, go.
Yeah, Steve, stop me if you want. But, Steve, just say this. Last week I was calling you about, maybe everybody knows what Steve, Coach Spurrier went through with the 9-2. And we were just mentioning what coaches will be safe. I think Brian Kelly might be getting a shot at Michigan. I wish that guy the best. Boy, he blew an opportunity. But Brian Kelly would be a good person. Maybe. I'm just bringing it out there. But what I want to bring up his name for, Steve, is over his years there, what was his records? And I don't think he lost under 9. He maybe didn't win nothing like I was saying. But, I just for conversation's sake, I don't know if I have the receipts on this, Steve, but I heard Alabama's not happy with their coach. I don't know, Steve, but just saying it's going to be fun watching this thing develop because, but yeah, it might be a good time to be a coach, Steve. Thank you for taking my call, man. Go Gators.
Byron, thank you. If Alabama is not happy with their football coach, then that fan base needs an enema. Simple. They're in the playoff. I guarantee you, if they lose in the first round, there's going to be a segment of the fan base that want him fired. Because that poor guy is always going to be compared to Saban. And that's what you know that's going to happen when you take the job, right? I get that. But my God, they're in the playoff. But let's do a little history lesson. James Franklin was in the playoff. That didn't matter to any because he got fired. All right. Let's get Top Jimmy here. Hi.
Good afternoon, sir. Always a pleasure. I spoke with, for the first time ever in my life, I spoke with Dan Patrick. I got on his show this morning to talk about Gator hoops and the OKC Thunder, which I also want to discuss those topics with you in a moment. Have you ever met Dan Patrick? Because he recognized your name.
I met him once.
You have met him in person, okay?
Yes.
Because I mentioned that you are our local sports godfather, and he applauded you for your career and the things that you have provided for us and accomplished in your life. So just wanted to give that shout out, and I told him I'd do that.
Okay, thank you.
OKC, man, it's ridiculous. They're not just beating teams, Steve. They just beat the Suns by 50 last night.
I said this at the start. I said it at the start of the year. If they stay healthy, they're going to break the record. They are.
Yeah, and remind me, the record was the Bulls, 72-10?
No, not the Bulls. Yeah, Golden State.
Oh, it was Golden State.
Yeah, 2015, 2016, I think, maybe.
And they won.
Somebody can fact check me, but I think I'm right.
All right, I might fact check you on that. I just typically don't do a lot of research.
Because
you know that
Golden
when I call
State
you, but,
was the other team that had the start of 24-1. That I do know.
Okay. Roger that. And also, the next 5 games on the schedule for the Gators men. By the way, fantastic interview with Zimmerman. They're playing. I'm not going to say cupcakes, but they're going to play about 4 or 5 games now between now and the start of the SEC schedule that they should win and probably will win.
Yeah,
to bolster their record.
Well,
to bolster the record to
I don't know about bolstering the record, but the way that he put the schedule together is, I think, really good. A lot of tests early. So you play, 9, 10 games. Then you play a stretch of games, which, on paper, you should certainly win. I think there's 4 left. And then you start the SEC. So, and that's a good Missouri team. But look, in the SEC, most teams are pretty good. So this is a chance to, A, get more wins, and B, I think, tinker a little bit, maybe, get more people in the game, see if they can help you down the road when the SEC starts. So I like this.
I like, and I'm on board with you too. It seems that Hanlockton's kind of in a funk right now. He's got to figure something out and get dialed in. But if Bland and Lee can get on sync with each other, and the front court is in solid shape and will hold against anybody. I mean, again, we lost to a team ranked in the top 5 by 4 points night before last, the UConn.
Yeah.
So, and who was the 4th loss? It was UConn, Arizona.
Arizona is a loss. UConn, TCU.
Duke. Oh, TCU. That's right. I forgot. That's the one I forgot. Okay. All right. So that's a pretty good loss resume to have for a team before they've even played a conference game.
Well,
in my opinion,
if you're going to put the glass half full, okay, you lost to UConn by 4, you lost to Duke by 1, you lost to TCU by 4. And you lost to Arizona by 6, 5,
it's
6.
It's a combined total of less than 20 points. They lost all 4 games by.
I mean, in theory, could have certainly, won those games. It isn't like they got blown out. But, the bottom line is some of those games you have to start winning, and I would imagine they would.
All right, fair enough, Steve. Always a pleasure. Thanks, sir.
Okay, Top Jimmy, thank you. 3928255. You can email the show, srussell@wruf.com. Gabe says, good for Pete Alonso. Hoping the Red Sox at Fenway are slightly better fit for him, but the O's came up with the deal he wanted. Mets boy wonder GM Stearns squeezed him last year, kept playing footsie this year without coming forward with a longer-term deal he wanted, following a good year. The Mets overpay lots of underperformers and refuse to value Alonso's contributions with a longer-term contract. Now they've lost Diaz and Nimmo, and their starting pitching staff is a mess. Not sure there's a master plan there. Cohen spends a lot of money, but often foolishly. Don't disagree. Now, I would certainly hope there is a master plan. And let me tell you, one guy that I would go after is Skubal, because he's going to get traded. in my opinion. The Tigers have no choice. If they don't get prospects for him this year, they will lose him and get nothing. And I don't know, given the market size the Tigers are, they can afford to do that. Because if they get in the playoffs again, that's great. But if they don't win it with him, and then you lose him and get nothing in return, that's going to be the tough part. So maybe that's where the Mets are going to try to get that, front line deal there. Joseph says Napier now promises to James Madison what he refused to do at Florida. Yeah, look, once again, I just hope that, it'll work out. I'm surprised more of you haven't had a reaction to Michigan. It's stunning what's happened there. And who do you get? Who do you get now? I mean, is there somebody on staff there? Because I don't know their staff who could be like an interim because of where we are in this. What's that going to do to recruiting for them? The portal? Wow. I mean, that can go south in a hurry if, it isn't there. So we will just see and what goes on from there. Jim, I see the ACC wants to expand the number of teams in the playoff. That's likely because it's the only way they'll get teams in. I don't see how you could expand past 16 because of the number of games required, the amount of time involved. Back in the day, I thought the best course would be reorganize Division I into 8 conferences and 12 teams. The conference champs go to an 8-team playoff. Simple as that. No griping about who gets in because you already know you have to win your conference. But that ship has sailed. Yeah, it has. It has sailed, unfortunately. But once again, there are – go ahead and hold on just a second for the interview. So go ahead and wait just a second on that. Okay. We'll take a break. We'll come back, and then we will have more on the show for you as you listen to Sports Scene on WRUF.
Concrete is tough, long-lasting, durable, and when it's done right, it's the foundation of everything that stands strong. At Silverback Concrete, we don't just pour concrete, we build trust one slab at a time. We're a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists who sweat every detail, from footers to elevated decks. We respect your budget, we build to last, and we care about the people on the job today and those who will walk these floors tomorrow. You stand on it, we stand by it. Silverback Concrete, we've got your back. Visit silverbackconcrete.co to get started.
This holiday season, let Pomodoro Cafe bring the soul of Italy to your table. From cozy gatherings to company-wide celebrations, we cater it all. With rich, authentic Italian flavors your guests will remember long after dessert. Serving UF, Shands, HCA, and all of Alachua County, we make it easy, delicious, and unforgettable. Perfect food, seamless service, timeless flavor. Visit PomodoroCafe.com to start planning your holiday event today.
At Comfort Temp Heating and Air, we're proud to celebrate 40 years as your #1 local HVAC company. We offer energy-efficient solutions featuring quality products from Lennox. Whether it's new installation, system repairs, or routine maintenance, we promise to never sell you anything you don't need. Our professional and experienced technicians provide reliable service you can trust and will keep you informed throughout the entire process. At Comfort Temp, comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise.
Are you ready to raise your game when it comes to your Gators gear? Head over to Alma Mater in Gainesville. You'll find just what you need to rep your team in style. From one-of-a-kind Gator tees and hats to NIL gear, they've got the perfect Gator swag for every fan in all kinds of weather. Whether it's game day or any day, you'll be winning with officially licensed apparel found nowhere else. Locally owned, locally produced. Alma Mater, in-store at the corner of 34th and University or online at almamaterdesign.com.
Gear up to root on the Gators at the University of Florida bookstore at the Rights Union. The UF bookstore will be open from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. for all the orange and blue gear you need. There's a large selection of clearance items throughout the clothing department with many items up to 50% off original price. This is a great time to expand your Gator wardrobe and save some money too. So as you look to root on the Gators, debut some new orange and blue gear at the UF bookstore, open noon to 5 on Sunday. So to score, just remember the University of Florida bookstore inside the Rights Union on campus, and go Gators!
When you need insurance, you'd like to get great coverage for a great rate, right? The big companies tell you they will, but how can you be sure? With Ann Tom's Insurance, you're not navigating coverage choices alone. Ann Tom's is an independent agent with 35 years of experience representing over 45 companies. Having an independent agent makes a real difference. It's that simple. Ann Tom's is local and independent, not just a phone bank. Go to atomsfl.com or call 352-275-9203.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party. You see that new welcome offer? Bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. I think we got to jump on this.
What's John Daly think?
I think you got to grip it and rip it.
Grip it?
And rip it.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable and bonus bets. Not a cash offer. Offered by Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
From the UF Weather Center, here is your WRUF weather update.
It's a beautiful late fall day today with abundant sunshine. 64 degrees is where we'll top out today. A little cooler than where we should be. Tonight, chilly. In fact, a frost advisory is in effect tonight, so bring those plants on in. 35 for the overnight low. Sunshine, warmer, 67 Friday, and hot as 72 sound by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday. From the WUFT Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tim Miller.
WRUF is your home for the National Football League, culminating with Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara. No one brings you the NFL like we do. WRUF.
Many thanks to Meldon Law for sponsoring all of our guests. Serving Gator Nation since 1971, the only injury law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Meldon Law won't back down. And Quality Plumbing, sponsoring our first hour of the show. We appreciate them and all of our sponsors on the show. My next guest I've had on a lot over the years because he knows his stuff. He is the senior college football reporter for On3. His name is Chris Lowe, and he now joins us. Chris, welcome. Thanks for doing this again.
Well, thank you for having me, Steve. It's always good to be with you guys.
You know, here we go, Chris, and then Michigan happens. How stunning is that?
Well, the details that are starting to filter out are pretty scary, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think we all get caught up in college football. We all have a vested interest in it, and it's a pretty emotional, passionate undertaking, especially in the South. But when you hear stuff like that, with police involvement and some allegations after his firing, I think about families and all the other people that are involved and hope that everybody's going to be okay. But it's sort of his firing and the way it went down. I wasn't 1,000% shocked because I'd been hearing rumblings all year that there may be something there with him and whether he was going to make it or not. You never know how valid that kind of thing is or not. But it just sort of, Steve, puts a cap on what's been the craziest, most chaotic hiring and firing cycle that I can ever remember in my nearly 40 years of doing this.
I'm right with you, my friend. Speaking of that, did anything stand out to you with these hirings and firings in a positive or a particularly negative way?
No, listen, we're at a place now in college football where there's so much money that's being, A, generated, B, paid out to coaches and players, and schools under immense pressure to generate, the money that it takes to participate in the rev share, the $20.5 million plus over and above that money that they need to raise in NIL to be competitive with all the other, schools that are out there that are doling out serious cash. The pressure, I think now, Steve, to perform and to win at the highest level and do whatever it takes to attract great players to campus is at an all-time high. And I think patience, which has never been in abundance in college football or certainly not in the SEC, is going to be even less or so. I mean, it's just remember the old 5-year plan. I don't know now.
No way.
I don't know now that if you don't do it in 3 years, that you're gone.
Yeah. I think with Napier,
And,
that was the outlier, right?
Yeah, and Billy would have been gone had he not, done a really good job towards the end of 2 seasons ago. Clearly, he never lost the locker room, and they got better, and they played better. But he was on his way to being out that year, and was able to sort of rally the troops, so to speak. But yes, I don't think you're going to see that again. Now so what was he? He was there 4 years, is that right?
Yep.
Part of 4 years.
Yep.
2 straight losing seasons, and it looked like they were headed toward another one, and he rallied it. Yeah, I have a hard time in the SEC seeing that happen again.
Since you're talking to a Gainesville audience here, your thoughts on the Sumrall hire here for Florida?
I mean, yeah, commodity, a guy that was in play at a lot of places the last 2 years. And I think before North Carolina had a lot of interest in him before the whole board took control there and brought Belichick in. And there were other schools, too. This year, too, if you would have asked me about the time Freeze was hired, I would have told you he's a lock for Auburn. And there were other schools that were interested. Certainly Arkansas was interested. His name at Penn State was another one. So there are a lot of people, much like recruiting day, signing day, Steve, people always want you to assess a signing class on the day that they have the signees. And I think, people give out grades for hires. We really don't know until a year or two away. But the way I assess hirings, who else really wanted that guy? Was he in play? Was he a guy that other schools that you have to beat and you have to compete against really wanted? And John was. And I know that everybody's going to say he wasn't their first choice. We know who Florida's first choice was. They didn't get him. They swung big. They did everything they could to try to get him. It didn't happen. But John was certainly a guy who was on a lot of teams' radars, a lot of schools' radar out there. And what was a hiring cycle, as I mentioned a minute ago, that was as chaotic. And you look at all the jobs that were open, and you can point your finger at a lot of those, and a lot of them were very interested in John.
Chris, let me ask in a sort of a global sense here, because you've done this a long time, as I have. With all either the negative or the uncertainty around college football, the sport's never been more popular. And that doesn't make sense to me sometimes if you just think about it rationally. But in your view, does there have to be a tweak of the playoff? Does there have to be a tweak of how many teams, conference champions, all of that? Where do you sit with that?
Well, I'll start with the playoff. The playoff is a flawed system. It has been flawed for a long time. Our dear friend Roy Kramer, who we lost last week, used to always tell me that there's never going to be a perfect system in college football to determine a champion, because it's just never going to be apples to apples and oranges to oranges. Different conferences, different schedules. I mean, heck, even within a conference, the schedule imbalance is pretty glaring sometimes. I mean, you look at Florida's schedule last few years compared to other school schedules, for instance.
Yep.
But I think going forward, number one, I do think the field will expand. And that's not going to be the end-all solution. But at least this year, if there were 16 teams, Vanderbilt would have gotten in, Notre Dame would have gotten in, probably Texas would have gotten in. But you're still going to have 17, 18, much like the NCAA hoops tournament.
Exactly.
You're still going to have 17, 18, 19 that are complaining.
Yep.
I think the conference affiliation, and I know everybody's going to say, well, wait a minute, are you saying get rid of the conference championship games? I'm not saying that definitively, but I know there's been a lot of discussion. And in the SEC in particular, I think there's a push to go straight seed, Steve, 1 through 12, 1 through 16.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? If you won the Big Ten that year, then it doesn't necessarily factor in the fact that you won a conference championship, because all conferences aren't created equal, and they're all and year to year, it's different, right?
Yes.
1 year, so I'd like to see if the 4 best teams this year. I think probably, I don't care if you cut your teeth in the SEC, the Big Ten, wherever. I think most people would say the three or four of the top teams in the country were from the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana and Ohio State and Oregon were all good football teams.
Yep.
And it really shouldn't matter, where you're in the conference. I mean, the ACC was not a very strong conference this year. I mean, Duke won the championship.
Right.
Now, they didn't get in the playoff, but they did win the conference championship. So, to me, if you want to get the 12 best teams in, then you can't be hung up on two things. You can't be hung up on who wins conference championships. And two, and I'm not saying to kick all the group of 5 teams to the curb, but maybe you have a playoff, much like you do, or a play-in, like you do in hoops, where the 2 best or the 2 highest-ranked group of 5 teams play an extra game to see who gets in. But if you're going to have the inclusivity part of it, which I know that's important right now, then don't say these are the 12 best teams in college football. Do you think Notre Dame would be favored over James Madison? Do you think Texas would be favored over James Madison? Would Vanderbilt be favored over James Madison? Absolutely, they would be.
Yep.
So it's not the 12 best teams. It's the 12 teams in this current system that they can justify putting in there.
Very quickly, do you think a group of 5 playoff would work?
I don't know what the numbers would be as far as how interested the networks would be. Would be a money maker, that type of thing. And you know as well as I do, it all gets down to money.
Yes, it does.
I think a better solution would be to go to 16, and that 16 spot
goes to them.
You have a playoff. You have a play-in where you have at least 2 teams that have a shot to get in there, and the rest of them go to bowls. Or let's maybe there's another caveat here, Steve. Maybe you say if a team finishes in the top 10 in a group of 5, that they automatically get a spot. I think that's fair, because if you finish in the top 10, then that means you've had a great season.